So, this haste that has come into human beings, these days wherever I go in the universities, initially I did not know the terminology, now of course I know. They have this FOMO problem, fear of missing out, that somebody else may be having fun. I'm sitting here just reading a book, but somebody else may be having a party, somebody else may be doing this, somebody else may be doing that. What kind of once you get into this madness, there's no relief. There's no relief from this. This is enslavement, worst kind of enslavement, because you want to do everything that everybody does. This is also an evolutionary issue, that is falling back, not forward. This is an evolutionary thing that the monkeys do. If one does one thing, all of them do the same thing. Well, this is also lack of evolution problem. So it's important. When we talk about spiritual process, the most important thing is learning to be still. That action is no more a compulsive thing. Action is a purposeful thing. When I want to act, I act absolutely. Otherwise, I can simply sit here. You know, this happened, this is way back when the home school started. One day I went there to see the children. They had this morning assembly. Then all these, 6, 7, 8-year-olds, 6 to 8-year-old kids, they're sitting there like this. I just look at them and say, why these children are like broken tops, you know? You know what's a top? It's gone, is it, completely? These kids still play top? Hello? It's gone. Anyway, a top has to be well balanced to make it stand like that. You don't know whether it's spinning or not, like that it stands. If it's a little broken top, it'll go like this. So these kids are like this, like this. I said, what's happening to these kids? No, the children, Sadhguru, they're like that only. Whose children are they? They're like this. So we started something extremely simple. There are 7 notes of the music, sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa. 12 minutes a day in the morning. After 2 months I go, they're all sitting like this. That's all it takes. The problem right now is, our education process is in a haste. People come and ask me, Sadhguru, in United States, one lady is coming and asking me, she's about 4 or 5 months pregnant. She wants to do it's called something, I don't know what, like before she delivers, she wants to teach the child something. Really, they are doing these programs where you try to impart mathematics and other aspects into the child by doing certain things. I don't know what all they're doing. Then I told her, see, in India, there are 2 good examples of somebody learning something in the mother's womb, and both of them have been great disasters. One is Ashtavakra. Being inside his mother's womb, he heard what his father is saying, all the scholarship he got, and then he disagreed with his father from there. So the father cursed him, whatever happened, or that learning itself distorted him. He became an absolutely distorted human being. Fortunately, he blossomed into something else because his body was distorted. Another is Abhimanyu, Arjuna's son. He also, being in his mother's womb, listening to some secrets that are being spoken, he heard only half of it. After that, maybe she drank water or something. He didn't hear the other half. Just imagine you're inside, you're listening, gudu gudu gudu. So he did not hear the other half. So he went into the battlefield, he knew how to get in to a certain formation, but he did not know how to get out and got killed in a terrible way. So I said, see, there are two examples in our country, those guys who learned from inside the womb, what a disaster they became. Is that what you want? He became like this because somebody has been giving her brochures and saying we can teach him, make him a mathematical genius by teaching mathematics when he is inside the womb. And others have some rapid learning nonsense. By the time they're 2-3 years of age, they're teaching them language, mathematics, this, that. This is the worst thing you can do because you're in haste. When you're in that kind of haste, you will waste everything, including your life. Most lives are going waste like this because haste about everything. The school itself is haste. Always this much learning, that much learning. No, there is no profoundness of involvement, simply piling up things. So, one major aspect of spiritual process is this, you're not in competition with anybody. Now you can close your eyes and sit, there is no issue. Otherwise you can't sit. You can't sit for a moment. When you're worried what somebody else is doing, you cannot sit here, you cannot sit anywhere. You will never know what it means to be at ease. If you do not know what it means to be at ease, knowing what it means to be blissful, out of question. What it means to be free, completely out of question. First and foremost thing is to come to ease. This doesn't mean you will not do anything in your life. You will do whatever you can. Everything that you can do, you will do. But you don't have to outperform somebody. There is simply no need because you cannot even outperform an ant. Can you do what he does? You cannot do what he does. So there is no need to compete. This competition nonsense from the kindergarten or even before they join the school, they start telling them, I am going to put you in the best school, you must be number one, you must be the best student. So everybody else must be less than you, that's the only wish. With this kind of sickness, forget about spiritual process, even life, simple aspects of life, to eat well, to sleep well, to do things in your life, that also will not happen. This has happened to modern societies, most of them cannot sleep. Either they must pop a pill or have a drink, otherwise they cannot sleep. A whole lot of people have gotten themselves into this position simply because haste. Haste is a consequence of always wanting to be better than somebody. This one thing, if it goes away, sitting here, simply, very natural. This does not mean that dynamism of your life will be taken away in any sense, never. In fact, rest is the basis of all activity, stillness is the basis of all dynamism. This is the way creation is made. When I was a youth, my father is always worried. He was always worried, this boy is not qualifying himself for anything, what will he do, what will he do, how will he earn his living? It never occurred to me how to earn my living. I thought it was obscene. How to earn my living, such a thought never occurred to me. I went to school, college, for whatever, my interest there, but never how to earn a living. So, when I took up that kind of education, which will definitely not get me a job anywhere. So there was great concern. So one day he was really very worried and some relatives were there and he said, what to do with this boy? He's not qualifying for anything. And I said, see, don't worry about me earning a living. Tell me when I should leave this house. The moment you say, within 2 minutes I'll be gone. And don't worry about me, I will live somewhere. If nothing else, I'll go into the jungle and I'll survive. Because I trekked across Western Ghats, I know where to live, where to survive. Without even seeing a human face, I will survive. There's no issue about that. And above all, because I am not qualified for anything, this means I can do whatever I feel like doing. Now that may look like arrogance, but it's not about arrogance, it's not about some special capability, it is just that a human being means just this, that, with our insight and related programs, we've changed the thing, and even in the ashram, we are not using the terminology anymore. We do not use the terminology of human resource. A resource means it's a fixed quantity. A human being is not a fixed quantity. If he or she is a fixed quantity, what the hell do I do with them? If it's already fixed by their genetics or their culture or their bloody god, that this is all they will be, then what do I do with them? Because I see human beings as a potential, that is why I'm investing my life in them. Otherwise, why? What's the point if they're not a potential? So we have changed this from human resource to human potential. It's very easy. From R, you just had to wipe out one line. It's HP now. In the ashram, the department is not called HR anymore, it's called HP, human potential. Because a human is a potential. How far will you explore this? This is the question. So, somewhere from this human potential, we looked at things only in terms of doing more. It's not about doing more, it is about doing more in terms of profoundness, not just in terms of quantity. We went into mass production of things in the world, all the beautiful things went away. This country still has retained some handicrafts, doing things, each piece of cloth, each one of them, every meter of what a handloom worker makes is unique and different. But now it comes out of a machine, tack, 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 tack. And the guy who's standing there is just putting little oil or putting little dye and simply standing there. He has no involvement, no nothing. We made the world… Even as I was a young boy, because I think I never was a child maybe, when I'm like 10, 11 years of age or even, around that much or even less than that, I always heard my father constantly being worried about me. He has no fear in his heart, what will happen to this boy? One day I turned around and asked, when did fear become a virtue? He said, see, I told you he has no fear in his heart. Well, when you look back and see, you will see, unfortunately, most religions in the world, political establishments in the world, and parents and teachers always used fear as the most effective tool to get what they want. Fear of hell, fear of shot to death, fear of punishment, fear of beating, fear of abuse, fear of shame. They used fear as the main tool of their trade, unfortunately including parents. Well, I think it is changing substantially, but still it's the underlying factor of most societies, because people still believe that fear will bring out the best in people. I think that is the most ridiculous and disastrous idea that spread across the world, that fear will bring about the best in people. Fear may control human beings from doing certain things, but fear will not liberate people from anything. Fear entangles a human being so badly and curtails a human being so badly, in many ways crushes a human being to become a small creature just desperate to survive, rather than being a grand being, not behaving like top-of-the-line life on this planet. You are the evolutionary crown of all life upon this planet, not behaving like the peak, behaving like bottom because fear. Fear not just of immediate consequences, but fear that you may suffer somewhere else. Fear of hell has been one of the big factors in controlling and managing people. Well, people are also God-fearing. The many things that we do in the form of bringing up our children, educating them, turning them towards the source of creation, all with fear, how will you ever succeed? Because fear is debilitating. You need… if you want to blossom, if you want to know some sense of liberation within you, you need all that you have and more. What you have is not enough. You need everything that you got and you need more, little more, push from the outside, otherwise one will not make it. But now crushing a human being with fear and making them less than what they are, and then hoping they will attain to something high is a very ridiculous thing. This happened. A mother is trying to encourage a young boy to drink goat's milk. But the boy not interested. So the mother says, you drink goat's milk, you will always remain young, you will never get old. The boy looks at her and says, Mom, if that is so, how come our neighbor's goat, only 4 years old and he's got a beard, and I've never seen any goat ever getting old, of course, and that you're right, because somebody will make biryani out of him, not because he's remained young, because somebody eats him up. Nobody allows him to get old. So, incentives are one way, fear is another way, but the most beautiful way is always that you're committed enough to bring about sense. To make sense to somebody, it takes a lot of time and effort. The same thing, you can get it done in fear in 2 minutes. I'm talking about management techniques. But because if you have to make somebody understand every aspect of what needs to be done, what could be said in one word as an order, you have to say 100 things, look at me. What can be said in one word in 100 different ways? But still, if you pull them out of the pit of ignorance today, tomorrow morning they'll be back there once again. Still you have to pull them back today, tomorrow morning they'll be back again. Well, that is the nature of this work. But even if somebody makes an incremental step towards a more sensible existence, you will have wonderful things around you. But if you get the same thing done out of fear or much more out of fear, you will have such an ugly atmosphere, the very air you breathe will be poisonous. When everybody around you is in fear, the very air you breathe will be poisonous.